Hello, BookTube. Who's up for a little mail on this cloudy, raw, gray Wednesday? I think it's going to rain all night. I think it's going to rain all day tomorrow. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Between being sick and it raining, I've taken the bean on very few really long, satisfying walks. It's lucky for me, but the main thing that she gets out of walks is her ability to scream at humans. She likes to order humans to stop and pet her and fuss over her. She doesn't really care about the rest of it. Although I think she's getting a little restless. So I think, looking at the weather, I'm guessing that over the transition from October to November, I'm thinking that the weather here in Boston is going to be fairly warm, 70 degrees Fahrenheit, very, very humid, a gush of rain. And then when that changes, that I think is at the edge of a system, and that when that changes, the system behind that will be drier and colder, but clear anyway. So I'm hoping that all the factors are in place. I'm hoping that I'm feeling well, and that the weather has cleared up for the weekend, so that Frida and I can go for some nice long walks. But in the meantime, I've got some mail. I don't have any boxes, but I do have quite a lot of cardboard here. So we'll start with the manila envelopes that aren't cardboard and see what they have to offer, and then we'll move on. Oh my, okay, all right. This is already a buzzed book. We will have to see here whether it's worth it. Of course, it's in the next year. It's in 2020, and it's fantasy. You're going to hear a lot about this, I think. This is by Tessa Grattan, and it is called Lady Hotspur. Now, you're not going to be able to tell that from the front of this ARC, but there is the title, Lady Hotspur. There you go. I don't think they will have the cobbles to keep this as the front cover design. Wish they would, but I don't think they will. They'll probably you'll get that title on the front cover. Come January. This is the first week in January. This comes out. The release date is January 7th. And this is the author's second fantasy novel for adult readers. She's apparently well known as a YA author. And this is a sweeping, heart-stopping, gender-flipped Shakespearean novel of betrayal and battlefields and destiny. Inspired by Shakespeare's Henry IV Part 1, set in the nation of Aramoria, dynasties battle for the crown in a story of deposed kings and betrayed queens. Strike fast, love hard, live forever, and never eat pears is the motto of the Lady Knights, sworn to fealty under a struggling kingdom, promised to defend the prospective heir, Banna Mora. But when a fearsome rebellion overthrows the throne, Mora is forced into an agonizing choice: give up everything she's been raised to love and allow a king-killer to be rewarded, or retake the throne and take up arms against the newest heir, Hal Bolingbroke, Mora's own childhood best friend and sworn head of the Lady Knights. Hal here is woman, of course. Hal loathes being a prince. She's much more comfortable instated in the throne of misrule, a raucous underground never court where passion rules all. She yearns to live up to the wishes of everyone she loves best, but that means sacrificing her own heart, and she will disappoint everyone until the moment she can rise to prove their expectations wrong. And between these two princes, they're female, and they're heirs to a throne, but they're not princesses, they're princes. Between these two fierce princes is the woman who will decide all their fates, Lady Isarna Hotspur, the fiery and bold knight whose support will turn the tides of the upcoming war. And this comes out on January 7th. Okay. All right, well, I'm very glad. I mean, this author seems to be doing very well, and I'm glad that she has an early blurb. There's a blurb on the back of this book by Donielle Clayton, who wrote The Bells, which I think I remember. And the quote is unfortunate. The quote is, Grattan takes Shakespeare to the sharpest, darkest, and most beautiful edge, perhaps where it should have existed all along. I am perfectly open to the idea of Lady Hotspur being a really good novel. It comes out in early January, so I won't be getting to it until the new year. But I don't think you're doing it any favors to say that maybe this time Macbeth will be done right. Okay, so, or Henry IV, Part 1 will be done right. Maybe this time, finally, we'll get something better than, you know, the shallow treatment that Shakespeare gave. If it was a minor Shakespeare play, maybe, but Henry IV Part 1 is not. Anyway, so you know, some high fantasy, gender swap fantasy for the new year. So let's see what this next one is. But sooner or later, we're going to have a mail haul where these are all New Year books. I don't think that's going to happen. Cardboard tends to mean finished copies. Okay, all right. This is the new year. This comes out in March. This is by Christoph Wolff. Some of you will know that author. And this is Bach's musical universe, the composer and his work. A firm believer in letting music speak for itself, Johann Sebastian Bach was reluctant to write about himself or decode his complex, innovative compositions in words. In this book, acclaimed historian and author Christoph Wolff captures the essence behind Bach's art through a comprehensive and fascinating study of his overall creative output, from the famous well-tempered clavier, violin and cello solos and Brandenburg concertos to the St. Matthew Passion, art of fugue, and B minor mass. Drawing from decades of research, Wolff lets readers hear the all-embracing melodies, witness the hidden harmonies, and understand one of the most admired and seminal figures in the world of classical music, often considered the greatest composer of all time. Often rightly considered the greatest composer of all time. Put in some Bach and just let it flow over you. It is absolutely unbelievable. It is unbelievable that a human wrote that music. But anyway, so I know, why do I know Christoph Wolff? That name sounds awful familiar. Adams Professor Emeritus at Harvard University, where he taught from 1976 to 2012. Former director of the Bach Archive in Leipzig, Germany, and author of numerous works of musical history. Okay. But I think I know one of those books. Here, what have we got here? I'm pretty sure that I read one of his books. Maybe it was, he wrote another book on Bach. I'm not seeing it here, but, I know this author, but we shall see. I don't have to worry about it yet, because it's March, but a Bach book, that's always something to look forward to. So let's see, now we'll do the cardboard. Let's see here. We're going to have finished copies. Finished copies would be... Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, this is definitely a hardcover. Let's see here. Eric Idle, Tommy Orange, John Hodgman, George F. Will, B.J. Novak. Those are the blurbs. Any idea who the author is? Notice that two-thirds of those blurbs come from people who don't write, and so we don't know how much they read. Yeah, this comes out in late November. Okay. All right. Well, this is The Captain and the Glory and Entertainment by Dave Eggers. So this guy is really going to start just calling these things by their... He's just going to continue giving them whimsy designations. This is an entertainment. His new novel, I thought it was an entertainment. I thought it was going to come with show lights and a little free whiskey. No, it's a novel. You sure? It looks like a novella to me. Is a savage satire of the United States in the throes of insanity. Blisteringly funny. The novel tells the story of a noble ship, the Glory, and the loud, clownish, and foul captain who steers it to the brink of disaster. Okay. When the decorated captain of a great ship descends the gangplank for the final time, a new leader, a man with a yellow feather in his hair, vows to step forward. Though he has no experience, no knowledge of nautical navigation or maritime law, and though he often has remarked he doesn't much like boats, he solemnly swears to shake things up. You getting the gist of things here? Together with his band of petty thieves and confidence men known as the Upskirt Boys, the captain thrills his passengers, writing his dreams and notions on the cafeteria wipe-away board, boasting of his exemplary anatomy, devouring cheeseburgers, and tossing overboard anyone who displeases him. Okay. The pub sheet finishes by saying that this is a wicked farce on contemporary America that only Dave Eggers could dream up. Okay, so This entertainment comes out at the end of November. It is 15 minutes of reading time, so I'll certainly do it. I'll certainly do it. Gotta hope. I don't know if it'll happen. I have to hope that it doesn't get any critical notice at all. I have to hope that we're not at that stage yet, with the grand old man of letters with his elbow sweater patches and whatnot. I'm hoping we don't have to notice every single thing, but I'll certainly read it. So what is this next one? It's bigger. It's a bigger thing. Oh no, this is a double. Oh, okay, well, we saw this already. This is a double. This is coming out soon. This is a November 19th release, but it won't be a strict on sale date. This is Remarkable Trees. We saw this already. All about trees. This is tells a unique story of more than 60 species, each selected for resonance and connection with people. So, you know, pine, lilac, laurel, all that sort of stuff will be in here. Okay, great. I now have 2 of these. That's all right, though. Those things happen. So let's move straight on. I still haven't actually looked at the one that I have. So, oh, okay. We saw this already. This is this must be the finished copy. Yeah, this is a $16 trade paperback. We've seen this already too. Well, now it comes with blurbs. This is by Nina McLaughlin, and it is Wake Siren, Ovid Resung. It's going to be in this little kind of eye-catching trade paperback. And this is, let's see here, in fierce, textured voices, the women of Ovid's Metamorphoses claim their stories and challenge the power of myth. So, I believe that I talked about this when I got it originally. This is, it would be a little bit glib to refer to it as Ovid Gets Me Too, but I think I mentioned when I first got it that the implication of that description, that the women of Ovid's Metamorphoses reclaim their stories and finally get to speak, could only be written. I don't know that I haven't read the book yet, but that kind of sentiment could only come from someone who's not familiar with the Metamorphoses, where the female characters do quite a bit of talking. They definitely own their own stories. The only way that they don't, that is impermissible in the 21st century, is that a lot of times they regret their decisions. A lot of times, if they've challenged the gods, or they've been foolish or stupid or mean-spirited and they get punished for it, they regret that those things happen. Sometimes not. Sometimes, there are a few cases where they are just the wanton playthings of the gods and they have no recourse whatsoever. But there are plenty of times where it's their own hubris that brought them to their ends, to being transformed into something like a spider or something like that, and that is impermissible. In current year, in 2019, that can't happen. The bad stuff can happen, but it can't ever be anything to do with you. It has to be you have to be the victim of circumstances. So we shall see. I typically don't like Ovid pastiche fiction for rather obvious reasons. The Ovid's Metamorphoses is my favorite book, and specifically because it's so relentlessly modern, to use that dumb bagatelle phrase. It doesn't need any help any more than Shakespeare's Henry IV Part 1 needs any help. It doesn't need any help. Pastiche is fine, but, well, we shall see. We shall see. I'm very encouraged in any way that this is ambitious, that it is Ovid pastiche fiction. That in itself, we're going to see the day when that goes away, because, that's a function of the education system, and nobody reads Ovid anymore. No one's forced to read the canon anymore. Almost nobody. And in 15 years, nobody will be. A few more lawsuits, and that'll be that. A few more upper middle class Wisconsin female high school juniors saying that if you make them read Charles Dickens, they're going to consider it rape. Not metaphorical, but actual physical rape, and you'll, of course, lose your job. You'll also lose your physical liberty. A few more lawsuits like that, backed by, parents who are big pharma lawyers, and the canon will be gone. so that's encouraging enough it is, and it's also encouraging that this is a very nice trade paperback. I'm not judging the thing out of hand. That's what I'm trying to say. What is this last one? Oh, fantastic. Okay. Well, this one we saw as well. This is kind of a anticlimactic little Wednesday mail haul, because I've already recommended this to you. I will take the opportunity to recommend it to you again. This is Lydia Davis. This is Essays 1. And this is, look at this, these are the same size. That is a very handy, very nice hardcover. And this is a collection of her nonfiction. Let me tell you a little bit about the, has blurbs on the back. Rick Moody, Colin Tobin, Joyce Carol Oates, Ben Marcus, Pete Orner. Let me see, what have we got here? There's a section on the practice of writing. There's a long piece on Joni Mitchell. There are profiles of writers, Pynchon, John Ashbery. Let's see here. There's another section on practice of writing. Then another section on artists, more writing on artists, and I think there's something on the Bible as well. Yeah, there's the Bible, Memory and Passage of Time. There's Abraham Lincoln. There's Stendhal. There's all sorts of. It bounces all around, and not all of the pieces are superb, but quite a few of them are. I loved it, and I'm very happy to have. I did not know that the hardcover was going to be so nice. I'm going to reread this on and off in between other stuff, but I know that you know, alone of all these things so far, I know that this is going in the little book room. I wouldn't miss it. I'm just interested to see now if this is designated 1. I'm interested to see what 2 will be. Will there be 2? Will there be 3? I don't know off the top of my head how much nonfiction Lydia Davis has written, but I'm eager to read it, eager to see it. It must all be, the rest of it must always be in the new year. I don't think there's anything else coming in now. But anyway, that is our mail haul. We had some new stuff and a lot of reprises. So one of the reprises is a double, Remarkable Trees. Then we had Lady Hotspur, in which the whole of that incredible structure of Henry IV Part 1 with Hal and Hotspur is gender swapped and put in a fantasy land. So I don't know what the ramifications of that will be entirely, but there's already buzz around the book. You're definitely going to hear about it in the new year. Then Bach's Musical Universe, new book examining his music. That's going to be fun. Essays 1 by Lydia Davis. The Captain and the Glory by that grand old man of literary letters, Dave Eggers. And Wake Siren by Nina McLaughlin. Sort of a takeoff on Ovid's Metamorphoses. So there you go. That's not a bad mail haul. I'm glad to have the Lydia Davis, and I will. I'm pretty sure that I have a recipient for the tree book. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.